One day, in the kingdom of Salum, a commoner was being oppressed by the nobles in a palace courtyard. One of the nobles there instructed the commoner to use the magic he had learned. However, when the commoner unleashed his fire magic, its attack power was very weak and couldn't even harm the nobles. The nobles mocked the commoner for his futile attempt to learn magic. In this world, magical power is not only measured by the effort put into learning it, but also by bloodline and talent. So, commoners cannot use magical power if they only strive to learn it. Therefore, the noble immediately demonstrated the true fire magic power to the commoner. In the end, the commoner died from the magic attack he had just received. However, the commoner did not take the noble's words seriously. Instead, he became even more obsessed with magic, and if given a second chance at life, he wanted to perfect the magic he had learned. Apparently, his hope became a reality, and he reincarnated as the 7th prince of the Salum kingdom, retaining memories from his previous life, Prince Lloyd. At first, he was confused by the situation there because he had not yet realized this. Lloyd saw many beautiful and sexy maids in front of him, and he accidentally released his fire magic power, damaging the roof of his room. Of course, the maids were surprised that the newborn Prince Lloyd could unleash magic like that. Even baby Lloyd immediately read all the magic books in the palace library. Moreover, Lloyd refused to be breastfed and preferred to read magic books. This child is truly crazy. 10 years passed, and Lloyd always looked for opportunities to escape from the maids to read magic books in the palace library. Lloyd did not care about wealth, throne, titles, or anything else. All he cared about was magic. Lloyd could also spend his time studying magic because he was the youngest prince in the Salum kingdom. There was no obligation to accept the royal throne. All relatives and nobles in the Salum kingdom knew that Lloyd was a genius child, like William Bolt, their magical ancestor. When Lloyd managed to sneak into the palace library, he began reading all the magic books he hadn't read yet. Some time passed, and one of the maids named Silpha, who was my first wife, found Lloyd and immediately gave him sword lessons as usual. Actually, Lloyd was only imitating Silpha's movements with his magic. Lloyd also knew that Silpha was restraining herself while fighting him. However, Lloyd's weakness was his small body and inability to match some of Silpha's moves. Therefore, Lloyd immediately cast 4 spells at once. Lloyd couldn't spend too much time practicing swordsmanship like this because he wanted to read magic books again as soon as possible. But unfortunately, Silpha still won, and she immediately hugged Lloyd in admiration for his effort to match her height with Silpha's. Moreover, Silpha was fascinated by Lloyd because she knew that Lloyd had used 2 spells at once during their sword practice. In Lloyd's mind, he wouldn't tell Silpha that he had used 4 spells at once before. If this was known, it could become a topic of conversation among the nobles. Using 4 spells at once at the same time is a difficult feat for other nobles. After finishing their sword practice, Silpha invited Lloyd to bathe with the other maids as usual. Lloyd was accustomed to this situation, but he actually hoped to bathe alone. However, the maids who were infatuated with Lloyd always urged him to do anything with them. They even argued about who would sleep with Lloyd. Although these sexy maids were infatuated with Lloyd, Lloyd still didn't care about them and preferred to read magic books alone. Well, I should be the one there with the maids. In the middle of the night, Lloyd sneaked into the forbidden underground library of the palace. He knew the location of the library thanks to the maids who inadvertently mentioned it. Although the library door was heavily guarded, Lloyd could still easily enter with his magic. Then Lloyd immediately broke the seal of the forbidden library door and began to enjoy reading some books there. Some time passed. Suddenly a demon sealed in one of the books appeared and spoke to Lloyd. The demon, Grimoire, was amazed by Lloyd because he managed to break the seal of the door that had been painstakingly made by 10 wizards in the past. Therefore, Grimoire asked Lloyd to release the seal from the book. The demon's seal would actually fade over time, but Grimoire still wanted to release it as soon as possible. Grimoire also promised to give Lloyd gold as a reward if Lloyd released the seal of the book. But Lloyd couldn't be fooled by Grimoire because he knew that the gold was fake. Moreover, Lloyd didn't care about Grimoire and continued reading magic books there. Lloyd also intended to seal the library door again when he finished reading the magic books tonight. Of course, Grimoire trembled because he didn't expect Lloyd to know his trick. Then the demon offered gentle lessons in ancient magic to Lloyd. After hearing that, Lloyd was interested and immediately broke the seal of the demon in the book. Grimoire didn't expect Lloyd to be too foolish to trust him. Grimoire began to teach ancient magic and directed it towards Lloyd.
もう少し見せてくれるかな。
Lloyd managed to withstand Grimoire's magic with his magic barrier. Lloyd was amazed because Grimoire's magic was very ancient and unique. Even Lloyd challenged Grimoire to use other variations of magic. Of course, Grimoire served Lloyd's request and continued to attack relentlessly. However, Grimoire's magic couldn't penetrate Lloyd's barrier. Instead, Lloyd intentionally absorbed and felt the effects of Grimoire's magic in his index finger. Lloyd was like a masochist who, when receiving pain, became more insane and enthusiastic. Even when Grimoire used a double mantra chant to attack Lloyd, Lloyd's barrier still couldn't be broken. After Lloyd learned Grimoire's ancient magic, now it was his turn to give Grimoire a magic lesson. He placed many barriers around the room and bookshelves. Then Lloyd immediately recited magic spells in a different way from other wizards and attacked Grimoire with a sharp look in his eyes. After Grimoire was defeated, Lloyd immediately restored the room to its original form. Grimoire had submitted to Lloyd because Lloyd's magical power was incomprehensible. Lloyd admired Grimoire because he couldn't die even though he had received such great power. Therefore, Lloyd wanted to try attacking Grimoire again. But Grimoire begged for mercy and promised to become Lloyd's familiar. Although demons like Grimoire couldn't die, they could still feel incredible pain. Then Lloyd agreed to Grimoire's promise and instructed him to transform into a smaller form. Grimoire immediately transformed his body into the size of a mouse and still had evil intentions to take over Lloyd's body. But unfortunately, when Grimoire attached to Lloyd's body, he felt a tremendous amount of mana inside Lloyd's body. Even his magic pathways were winding. Grimoire became frightened because he was currently facing a human like a high-level monster or demon.
どうした？寒いのか？
なんだこの魔力蜜だ。まあしばらくは従順にしておこう。